So it's another day. It's been a couple weeks. If I'm finally, I'm just like in a zone. Just go ahead and I didn't even think nothing about it. I had something plugged in my ear, and next thing I know, 40 minutes later, the head is coming off right now. So I got the head bolts off. I'm about to pull it out, and then we'll see what went on with the head gasket. So previously, what had happened, and I'll put the link for the original video in the description. So previously, what happened? Valves bent, replaced the head gasket. Everything went smooth. Everything until when I originally started the car up, get the heat to work. Heat got warm, but then it didn't after the vehicle completely warmed up. And next day I would drive it, and I just couldn't get the air out the system, as if it was air in the system. And I knew deep down inside what was going on. It's a head problem. So it runs great. It runs great. It's just when it gets hot, about 180 degrees, things expand, and then it start leaking in number 4 cylinder. Like when I pull the plug out, put the bore scope down there, you can see steam coming out. Okay, so I know the head gasket, it has head gasket symptoms. So what I found out at the end of during the end of the video, the head gasket that I got was a factory GM gasket, which was 0.53 millimeters thick. The aftermarket gasket I put on here before was a Fel-Pro. Now I could not get Fel-Pro specs, but I found the Clevite or Mile, however you say it. I got a head gasket from Rock Auto. That head gasket is 0.93, so it's about 40% thicker than it's over 40% thicker than the original head gasket. So that needs to make a difference. What I'm doing differently now, I'm just gonna put copper spray on it. I never had any issues with copper spray. I've had, like, hell, even my car, the plumber's house have leaks. I drive my car on a daily basis. I need to throw a head gasket on it, and I pulled the head off, cleaned everything, put a new head gasket with copper spray on it, and never had any more problems. Okay, so it's good, cheap insurance for sealing for the water jackets. It's not going to fix any firing issues, but in this particular case, I got a new head gasket. I am putting copper spray on this, and I've done videos before where I have used copper spray and have not had any issues with the head gasket. So that's what I'll be doing with this one, and that should fix this problem. While it's off, I will check the specs, which I shouldn't have to. They shaved the head, but I am going to visually inspect the head and put a straight edge on it. And go from there. But this is the updated video. Let me go ahead and get these head bolts out and pull the head off, and we'll inspect the block and the head, and maybe we can see specifically what had happened. Just to add, I'm not reusing the head bolts. I do have brand new head bolts also. So here's the head gasket. I don't see anything like obvious in regards to the firing here, but there is some carbon here on the upper portion of the bore, like right there, up here. So it's a possibility those were more heated areas right there. Pull this off. We'll put even though this is used, we're gonna put them side by side with the new one and see how they match up together. Here's the back. Here's the cylinder head before I actually go to clean it. This is just from me. I took a dry paper towel and created that. The fire ring is outside of that anyway, so that's nothing. This was the suspected cylinder here, number 4, and it looks fine. I just think it's because of the clearances with the head gasket. So I'm gonna clean this up really good, and we're gonna match up the old and the new head gasket, see if we can see a notable thickness. Not only did the factory head gasket like let me down installing it, but I got cut very bad on my thumb. So unfortunately, ordering it through Rock Auto here, this being, I don't know how they did that, but it's not sharp, so I'm gonna wing it. So thanks Rock Auto for shipping the head gasket in such a great fashion. Yeah, that's life. This is life right now. So let's put these side by side, and I know they're already used, but from the eyeball, yeah, you can see that there's a difference. I mean, one was used, one wasn't. So I'm just looking where it's right here. If you look where the rivet is, it is definitely thicker. So I'm gonna clean this off, try to get it as straight as I can. It'll, like I said, it's not sharp. It'll straighten out. And yeah, I'm not happy about it. So I got the new head gasket. It's got copper spray on. I actually had a lady come by, so it's had plenty of time to get tacky. I'm gonna get the head set on here. I got my excuse me, got my hose cleaned up really good. I do have to run and get that new balance shaft timing set. So yeah, long story with that one. That's going to get redone. I'm kind of glad it happened, to be honest, because I was like, how did this come off of here? And yeah, it's getting a new balance shaft kit, the chain, that is. So it worked out really good that this happened. So I'm not disappointed. I'm humans, and I say humans, I am human and I make mistakes. So this should work out very good. This should definitely fix the problem that I had before and not present itself anymore. This is a very thick layer, very tacky too. Let me get the head on here. I'm gonna just give the end result. Unfortunately, there was nothing like out of the ordinary we were going to be able to see with the head gasket being blown or anything. Like I said, it only happened once the car got hot. When it was cool, it ran great, ran phenomenal. We're gonna get this fixed now. All right, round 2. Everything's put back together for the most part. I just got the cover off the high pressure pump to make sure that the line isn't leaking. I don't replace them, so just gotta make sure it's not leaking. All right, this is a dry startup. It hasn't been started yet, and I do have a little coolant in there. Head gasket, so I'll save all that stuff to the end. Let's just see if it works first. Everything's plugged in, so we should be good. That was a buzzer beater. You hear that clicking noise? You know, the last video I did with the Nissan, when I did the, well, I think it was an Infiniti, when I did the flush, they were talking about, well, the engine's loud. Direct injection engines are very loud because of that thing right there, the high pressure pump. That's why they have insulators on them to shut them up. That's why you're hearing that ticking noise. Just FYI, if you happen to be here from that video. So it runs great. It sounds amazing. The biggest thing is it going to bubble and is the heat going to work? So I'm gonna let it build up temperature, and I probably need to clear the code out because the fan stand on is probably the indication that there's a code present for like coolant temperature related. Could be because of mass airflow or slow, could be anything. So I'm gonna shut it off, clear any codes, and then start it back up. And when I get to normal operating temperature, I'll provide an update. But for right now, it runs great. It's the next day, and let me tell you, not only did the timing have some faults, but the oil control valve had some faults too. So luckily I had some laying around. I changed the intake because that screwed up for some strange reason, me pulling it out, and I probably because of how I grabbed the body and pulled it out, that screwed up the oil control valve for the intake side. So okay, I got that fixed, and P0017 kept coming up, and I'm just like, what did I do now? I can't control anything on the exhaust actuator. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm just like everybody else. I started to panic when I started looking up the potential causes, but I'm like, it ran perfectly fine before I touched it. So it's something I did. Naturally, go back over what you did, meaning me. And so, based off of my experience and what I tend to screw up on, even though I check the timing, triple check it, the timing does have a propensity to jump. And lo and behold, supposed to be 16 links between, 16 links between the top dead center on the intake and exhaust, and it jumped half a link. So I need to bring it back up one. So that's what I'm dealing with now, and that should fix the P0017. And we should be perfect because the heat works amazingly. The coolant circulating, no more bubbling, no more issues. It's just stuff, I'm human and I screw up. So I'm gonna get this knocked out, take the tensioner out, and get the gear off to reset that, and we should be good. I don't know why I can't remember having to depress these tensioners, but what you have to do to depress it, if it's already extended out, take the snap ring out, and once you disassemble it, then you'll see like a maze of a tube. You push up and twist, and it'll go into its locking position. And anyway, it's done. Because what happened last time when I originally did it, I just went ahead and warranted the tensioner that I had and not screw around with it. So I was like, well, they fail anyway, let me just get a new one. So once I warranted that, then I didn't have to fight with it. So we're getting to the point now where, let's see if, okay, it came up. I'm gonna show you the code. We're getting to the point where I can start it up, but I just wanna show you that the code was present, the P0017, and that's probably from me disconnecting stuff. Yeah, that's what the mass airflow being disconnected. That was the one that would immediately come back for the exhaust, and we saw that it was a half a tooth off. Counting the links, there were 16 links, and it was not on point. It was a half a link off. So let's see what happens. Better start start up sooner. Let's see if it wants to act funny or not. Oh, shoot. I didn't see. Okay. Oops. Let me clear that code out. I did not think about that. I was so preoccupied with how I was going to run. Yeah, that code didn't come back. The fuel pressure code came back. Let me clear the code again. And let's see if... Nope. Okay, no code. Let me shut it down. That's way better. I was wondering what that sound was because I've never heard that noise before that it was making without the fuel pump, high pressure pump being connected. So yeah, that code's gone. Now before I couldn't bidirectionally control the actuators. So let me go back and see if I have control over that. An active test feature, cam position actuator. And we're going to do the exhaust actuator here. And I didn't have any degree angle or anything because it would just shut it down. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, we got exhaust cam angle now. Let me try to increase it and it should match the desired versus actual. So being that I command 5%, the vehicle, let me see if I can get this camera to focus. The vehicle now is able to make the compensations and hold that angle. Go to 10%. Oh yeah, we're in good shape. Normally what'll happen if this is fluctuating and can't stabilize, the actual cam angle would be the not the oil control valve. It can potentially be the oil control valve, but typically it's not. Usually it's the actuator because it can't stay stable. It's kind of coming off. I wonder if I have, let's see here. I wonder why I did that. Yeah, it failed. What's up with this? Did I time out or what? I gotta find out what happened. What's up with that? Did a code come up? Is my timing off? No codes. It probably timed out. That's all it was. It'll do that after a certain amount of time. I've been talking too much. Let me get this camera right. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't focus that well. Let me show you one thing. This car has, how do I work this thing here? A source. And where's the menu? Go here. This car has almost 200,000 miles on it. So what you witnessed me having some issues rebuilding this motor with high miles is inconsistencies with the block, warpness and age. That's why, like, if you take your transmission to a shop and it has several over a couple 100,000 miles, they're not going to touch it because of imperfections. That's what I dealt with this particular case. Even though I got the head shaved, the block wasn't perfect, and using a factory head gasket, it was not going to sit 100%. So the aftermarket gasket's thicker, and it was able to fill those voids. And then I use a little bit of reassurance with the copper spray. You see that it was an issue before and it worked. People can have a perception on it, but there was a problem and the aftermarket resolved it. So using factory stuff isn't always the right way. I used aftermarket and it was the fix for the factory stuff. Now I could have took the block out and got that redone, but it was not needed for this particular case. Fixed the oil consumption problem with new pistons, got the head shaved, the new gasket should work out fine. But because of clearances, this is what we got. Now I did use aftermarket bolts. I used Engine Tech head bolts. They worked phenomenally. They went in perfect. The head bolts from the factory didn't go in that great. I used factory head gasket and bolts. Didn't work that great. The aftermarket stuff works phenomenally, and here I'm in a good situation now. So I'm not that guy to be like, oh, factory this, factory that. No, I understand because of the complexity of a lot of issues I deal with, that factory isn't always going to be the fix. That's why we got aftermarket and a lifetime warranty on stuff, so it's easy to manage. It's unfortunate the parts fail, but we have the convenience of warranting those products. The heat works amazingly. Before it didn't work. There's no more bubbling. What I will do before I end this video is do a crank cam relearn for this vehicle, and that'll be done. I'll be done with that. That's just, let's see, follow directions, turn off AC. What we're going to do is go into a device limiting sealant cool. Oh, I gotta let it warm up a little bit. Give me a second. While we're still warming up, let me just look at some random data. But just the fuel trims. I mean, it's idle, and look how perfect those fuel trims are. I mean, it's so close to zero on a long term on an idle basis. Look at that. That's amazing. And this is aftermarket stuff. This is not factory. This is not factory stuff. I was just gonna monitor the fuel trims just to see if they was kind of out of whack due to me, you know, my screw up or whatever. But no, they're perfect. Perfect. This was a great rebuild. Go back. Let me see what the coolant temperature is. Let's go to cruising, cooling system, HVAC. So currently we're at 154. Should be around 160 degrees. All right. So the only thing I do is do a snap throttle, wide open, and release the pedal once it hit the fuel cutoff. All right, that's it. Now, if you have crank cam correlation issues, that's not going to fix anything. That just recognizes that you satisfied the conditions that is needed to do a relearn for the particular cam crank that is set for that particular time frame. So I have a base standard with a good working timing. That's what that's for. So it's been running for a couple more minutes since I got off the video last, and let me show you, it's not bubbling or anything. Coolant is stable, settled. So we're in perfect shape. Well, I still got several more things I want to do. I need to replace the sway bar link, change the transmission fluid, and I still got to do brakes and rotors and stuff all the way around. So I still got quite a few things I want to do, and then I want to kind of beautify it because it's a girl's car. If I get anything interesting happen, I'm going to definitely do a video on it. But for the most part, the main thing that I need to deal with, we've got new piston rings, rod, bearings, hone the block. It's rebuilt. It's a remanufactured motor through part shooting. That's what we did. So it's completely rebuilt for the most part, the internal. So this oil consumption issue is going to be resolved, new timing components. This should last hopefully 100,000 miles, but you know, kids and their new driving habits, so we'll see what happens with that. If anything happened, I'll definitely update, but hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, how to reach us some more work. See you on next one.